Namibia. I'm Sister Holder Navasis, a registered nurse currently working at Namibian Oncology Center, Windhoek. I'm here to encourage each and every Namibian to stay home in order to slow the spread of the 2019 novel coronavirus. Physical distancing is very important. We will still be socially connected. Therefore, my people, be part of the solution. Stay home.
International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future, a hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUM for life. We are IUM.
Good evening, I'm Maggie Forciero. In the news tonight, Red Cross Namibia joins COVID-19 benefactors. The Windhoek Council inaugurates new traffic lights in Ochemwese. Land grabbers annoy Pluto Street residents. Police officer ventures into horticulture farming to support his family. And Roundup, Business on One comments corners, sports and the weather. The Namibia Red Cross Society has joined a myriad of other benefactors who have aided the Ministry of Health and Social Services in the fight against COVID-19, contributing 50 oxygen concentrators valued at 1.3 million Namibia dollars.
The Red Cross Society has raised concern with the number of COVID-19 deaths that have been registered thus far, noting that it will continue its support through volunteers and inform on health education.
The Red Cross Society, being one of the main responders during disasters, has over the years attended to floods, drought and disease outbreak emergencies. These are usually activities that had a time frame, and we could easily predict as to when the situation would improve or go back to normalcy. What you are facing today with is alarming because the number of individuals who have died due to COVID-19 pandemic is immensely painful and concerning. The donation will be delivered through the support of the Ministry of Health and Services National Office to the different hospitals countrywide. This action step of the donation is going to be distributed to the different hospitals. Namibia Red Cross to assist with the distribution, if need be.
Acting Executive Director in the Ministry of Health underscored the importance of oxygen in managing COVID-19 patients, adding that the contribution further strengthens the partnership between the Health Ministry and the Red Cross.
New infections are relatively new. The oxygen concentrators would enable healthcare facilities to raise the level of preparedness for a possible increase in cases during the holiday period, as we will see more movement of people around the country and across our national borders. Let us not have a false sense of security that the pandemic is now over. We must continue adhering to public health regulations and measures put in place to prevent COVID-19. Additionally, I would like to reiterate that vaccination remains one of the best ways to prevent devastation caused by this pandemic. The past 6 months demonstrated that oxygen is one of the most essential commodities in managing COVID-19 patients. Thus, donation of this important piece of equipment will go a long way in mitigating the impact of COVID-19. Director of Proceedings. Our partnership with Namibia Red Cross Society is not new. Namibia Red Cross Society has worked in partnership with the Ministry of Health and Social Services on a number of public health issues, such as hepatitis E, by raising community awareness through their regional networks of staff and volunteers, particularly on issues of water, sanitation, and hygiene.
Teachers, we know all the hard work you put in every day to make sure our kids get the best education possible. It's also our goal here at One Africa TV's #LearnOn1. That's why we bring free quality supplementary lessons that are 100% Namibian, complements of NMH's MyZone. Lessons include early childhood development programs and primary school lessons. These air on One Africa TV every weekday from 9 to 11 a.m. with repeats from 2 to 4 p.m. There's so much to learn with #LearnOn1. Invite learning in.
We can't wait to get the whole gang together. But until then, let's stay safe.
The City of Windhoek, together with partners from the road infrastructure sector, the Road Fund Administration and Roads Authority, officially switched on the traffic lights recently installed at the intersections of Ochimise Road and Beijing, as well as Chavella and Bond Streets.
The 2-month project is a collaborative effort with the Road Fund Administration, contributing over 2.8 million. Chief Executive Officer of the fund, Ali Ipinge, applauded the initiative, describing it as a big achievement.
We're talking about how can we better improve mobility of our road users and residents, particularly in the high-density suburbs. And I think that conversation then led to a program that I think we are proud that it has been executed, and that is to provide traffic lights to support the mobility of the residents, easy mobility, to increase or to reduce the travel time between, of course, the various suburbs, especially as we lead into the CBD.
Conrad Lutombi, the Chief Executive Officer of the Road Fund Administration, says infrastructure development such as traffic lights is critical for the transport sector.
It's important that Roads Authority and City of Windhoek cooperate moving forward. We pledge our support. We support you. Indeed, in collaboration with RFA, there's a lot of things we can do together.
The mayor of the city of Windhoek spoke on how different institutions collaborating is important to achieve a common goal.
This road, it is one of the busiest roads. Havana, and all those, eventually everybody ends up here. The person who's in Osona gets to, there are 2 employees, one of them lives just in this flat here. For them to get out and then get to the city, I couldn't believe it, but I was told that people at Osona reach the city faster than people in Komasda. It looked like something is not, how is it possible that the person who's just few kilometers away would reach it way here? So I think touching people's lives at the point of need, because eventually leadership is about moving people from point A to point B, where point B is a better place.
The Road Fund Authority and the Road Authority both expressed support for the expansion of single roads in and around the city to be able to accommodate the heavy traffic flow. The city of Windhoek further stated that it is in their plans to expand other roads in Windhoek in the near future.
Illegal settlers are causing havoc in Pluto Street, Walvis Bay, according to residents who peacefully protested against their apparent ill behavior. Pluto residents are accusing the unwelcomed guests of defecating in the open, stealing water, and risking the health and safety of the inhabitants.
Community Voices proudly brought to you by Namdeb Diamond Corporation. Good today, better tomorrow.
What is happening there in the first place? Those are illegal squatters. They don't have running water. So what they do, they wait for us to go and sleep. Around 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, they come steal water in our yards. They don't have toilets, so what they do, they just relieve themselves anywhere elsewhere.
The Pluto residents say they've had it with the illegal settlers and their misdeeds. And as a way to bring attention to the matter, the group intruded on a council meeting last week and demanded action against the alleged illegal squatters.
Sorry to hijack your meeting, but we came here so that you can hear us. We are tired, we follow all the correct procedures, but we don't want to go fight with those people. We came to you to help us.
For someone paying property taxes, the unruly behavior of the illegal squatters is hurtful, exclaimed Pluto Street Group representative.
For us, it's really painful. People who are paying the rent and taxes for the urban area, but then in front of our houses, we have people who are living a life of a rural area. It's painful.
The protesters are complaining of high water bills amongst other costs. They further question the kind of action the municipality would have taken had the issue been in the upmarket residential areas.
If that or those land grabbers, if they were grabbing one of the elite places like town or Narago, would the council allow them? That is my question. Or why are we taken for a right? For us, it's not a right. It's not right. We communicated. We can't take it anymore. Our water bills are getting high because these people are coming to steal our water.
Although a formal response from the Walvis Bay Town Council wasn't on the record, Mayor Trevino Forbes reportedly promised the disgruntled protesters of Pluto Street that he would find a way to address the matter.
Community Voices proudly brought to you by Namdeb Diamond Corporation. Good today, better tomorrow.
Enjoy a season of character savings at Pep. Tees or vests, just $39.99. Want more adventure? Bring it home with character bedding, an incredible $149.99 per set. Character backpacks, only $54.99. Lowest prices means more festive fun. Life's better with Pep.
What's up, everybody? This is Script, and you can catch me on 99 FM from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Mondays to Fridays. Now, we'll be taking a look at the latest in sports on the warm-up session. One-on-one conversations with the movers and the shakers on game changes, and then we'll also decode your favorite songs on 99 FM as we read between the lines. So join me, Script, on 99 FM, your inspiration station.
38-year-old police officer at the Namibian Police Force, Songa Simasiko, has taken up horticulture as a means to support his family and keep his children in school. The high price of vegetables forced him to venture into this type of farming.
I started being in this type of farming, which is horticulture. I started in 2017. What made me to start with this farming is just because most of the things we had been buying them in town. So it was so expensive for us to be buying certain things like vegetables, which are tomatoes, spinach, onions. So everything had become so expensive. So I started on a small piece of garden that I started with, and then as time was moving, I started expanding my garden. So the main thing that have really encouraged me is just because things had become so expensive, and most of the things that I sell have really helped me to pay some of my school fees for my kids, even for my relatives, and I have managed to settle some of the things that were troubling me in life. So that's why I'm very much encouraged in this type of farming, which is horticulture.
Growing vegetables such as spinach, cabbage, tomatoes, and onions, Simasiko says he does, however, have issues with birds, elephants, and goats destroying his maize. For irrigation, he makes use of a borehole as he cannot afford to upgrade to a modern irrigation system. Carrying buckets of water can sometimes be tiring for Simasiko as it gets very hot during the day. The horticulture farmer gets assistance from locals in the village, who may also give training so they can start their own gardens.
To welcome new friends. But until then, let's stay safe.
Man, you've got to be anything, he should be everything. Strength provider, the architect of every ring. Experience Peniel, see the face of God and live.
I pray to God for my enemy.
Why you ready? Why you baby? Wanna do? Insta baby, Insta baby, Insta baby. Why you lying? Everybody shake what your mama gave ya. Everybody move what your mama gave ya. Everybody shake what your mama gave ya. Everybody move, yeah, lost, fuck.
You are now watching the V10 Countdown.
In other leading stories, the Ministry of Health and Social Services in Namibia, in collaboration with its development partners, led by the World Health Organization, is conducting a health sector performance review that will cover the period 2009 to date. Building on the last review in 2008, the overall objective of this review is to assess progress in attainment of targets, implementation of strategies, and documents contextual factors impacting performance of the health system. During the week of the 15th November 2021, stakeholders from the Ministry of Health, other government ministries and agencies and partners participated in a workshop to analyze secondary data from the period under review and prepare for field data collection at national and sub-national level. Speaking at the opening of the workshop, the Executive Director at the Ministry of Health and Social Services, Ben Ngombe, underscored the value of the review in identifying barriers to delivering results effectively and efficiently. Based on the findings of the review, a national policy dialogue will examine the key strategic issues identified, best practices and policy implications of the findings for the national health policy and next health sector strategic plan of 2022 to 2027.
Nothing is too good for my daughter. Now here's the deal, Nambi. There's no playing around with other boys before your wedding. Do you understand me? It's the most important day of your life.
Nambi, baby, you have a face like a beautiful person. I got you this Virgin Mary necklace to protect your innocence.
Stupid man. We have loved each other since high school, and now you want to turn your back on me? All the plans we made, you just throw them away? And you want Nambi now? When I've always been there for you, Ziwa, do you understand? And she doesn't even love you. I wasted my time on someone like you.
Don't be like that, Jalia.
Love, everybody needs it. Love.
God said, it's interesting to see if we have a look at John 1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. In other words, what I see drives me to go out what I say. And I believe this is the goal of our Bible school, to teach me to see. And I dare to say what you see must change your heart. Because you cannot move out if you don't have a changed heart. By the word of God, everything is created. God wants you to speak the word so that things can be created. Say to your neighbor, created.
Joseph Shifeni is standing by for this evening's edition of Business on One.
Welcome to Business on One. I'm Joseph Shifeni. The National Energy Fund has for months spent millions to carry the under-recoveries caused as volatile international oil markets due to the surge in COVID-19 cases depressed demand. The Mines and Energy Ministry assured the public that the fund will remain sustainable and that they are aware of the impact that the recent fuel price adjustment will have on the economy.
The National Energy Fund under the Mines and Energy Ministry will spend $154 million on under-recoveries recorded last month in efforts to ease the burden on motorists. The 1st of December will signal the 8th fuel price increase for the year 2021. Petrol economist at the ministry, Abednego Ekanjo, says the fund will continue to meet consumers halfway.
The aim of the ministry is obviously to ensure that our consumers are cushioned against these volatilities in the international oil market. And we do that through the National Energy Fund, as you are rightly saying. But the other aim of the ministry is also to ensure that the fund is always in a healthy financial position. So the ministry, what we can confirm right now is that the fund is in a healthy financial position, and moving forward into the future, it will be able to meet its financial obligations to the fuel importers in the country. And just to give you a brief history of the transactions that has taken place over the last 4 months. In August, for example, the fund paid out around 60 million Namibian dollars to the oil importers to cover for these under recoveries. And then during September, the fund dispensed around 49 million to cover for these under recoveries. And then during October, the amount was very high, where the fund paid out nearly 155 million to the oil importers to compensate them for these under recoveries. And based on the under recoveries that we have observed for November, we are also expecting the fund to finance these under recoveries to over 100 million. So, but what we can confirm is that the fund, the National Energy Fund, is still in a healthy financial position, and moving forward into the future, it will be able to meet its financial obligations to the oil importers in the country.
The fuel price will in particular impact households and small businesses. Senior Public Relations Officer Andreas Simon says it is never the government's intention to place a burden on consumers, as they are aware of the challenges facing the economy. But safeguarding the fund's long-term sustainability is key.
This month, when we did the review, we saw that we're actually at a crossroads here. And we really had to think deep and deliberate deep, discuss deep and plan deep in order for us to come up with that final conclusion, which ultimately led to us or to the ministry having to increase fuel. The one thing that the public must also understand is that if, let's say, for example, we did not increase fuel and we had to again subsidize the entire amount or carry those costs for the under recoveries entirely from the NEF, the amount would have been alarming, would have been very high, and therefore it sets us in a position to perhaps not even in the future be able to pay for those under recoveries from the NEF, especially if we don't know how the market will actually perform in the coming month, because this is all about forecasting. We ought to look at how has the market performed either last month or the previous months, and most likely how will it perform in the coming months. And it is only if we take decisions that are meaningful, like the ones that we did for this month, we are able to at least secure that even if, say for example, the market does not play in our favor, come the other month, we have at least gained some money from the consumers. We have through that subsidization practice that we follow, to be able to take from the savings again and further subsidize.
Namibia is the only country in the SADC bloc that subsidizes fuel, easing the burden on consumers. Factors such as the depreciating Namibian dollar against the US currency, coupled with OPEC's reluctance to increase global oil supply, is keeping fuel prices high.
And that is all we have for you. Be sure to follow us on our social media pages for more on the business front.
Are you a CMAS member? Did you know that should you need medical treatment, you have access to quality private hospitalization, guaranteed specialist treatment in private hospitals across Namibia with Compliment Gap. Compliment Gap is a complimentary product for CMAS members only, which covers the shortfall between what CMAS pays and private hospitals charge. You and your family have more than 2 million in medical gap cover per year at a very affordable price. That's not all. You also have access to emergency evacuation within Namibia and $10 million international travel cover for those unforeseen events abroad. Take the financial burden off your shoulders. Invest in your family's health. SMS GAP to 999 555 and we'll contact you. Terms and conditions apply.
Oranjemund, established in 1936, from which point onwards CDM, now Namdeb Diamond Corporation, provided every service, the schooling, infrastructure and entertainment required for the people of the town. The winds of change is blowing over Oranjemund, which is no longer a closed town.
This ship was commandeered by King Jao III, and he actually sent a knight to Spain to go and fetch some money from investors, because they wanted to go and fetch some spices in India.
When we were kids, the mine delivered milk, bread, and black paper, black plastic bags for your rubbish, and cleaned your garden, did the maintenance of your house. You had furniture already installed in your house.
It was the silence that connected us all. But the journey started long before that day.
Coach has a gift to be able to spot talent a mile away.
I think the family kind of feeling makes the athletes feel like they want to perform for him.
This is a match made in heaven. We just become one. There was difficult times. I said to the girls, we didn't do all this just for one hump to take us off track. We started talking about this journey, and the way we actually painted that journey is almost perfectly the way it ended.
We thought that maybe one of them will make the final. Those of them make the finals, then the rest is history.
Quiet broken by the firing of the gun, and they're off.
And here comes Christine Bommer in second place. Will they do it today? Oh, of course! 21-81.
This one belongs to us all as one.
Mpaka tuyadha otuli pamwe nangoe mompombo ya mainyanyudho otse ea mukuru okuzangenea totere mombo omaobigari nkweigiari omrunga radio ogwakala nokukundaneka okunyanyudha nokuyakuroshiwani omrunga radio yotango monamibia.
Time now for Comments Corner, your daily dose of comments from our social media pages. The Landless People's Movement feels the former president, Hifikepunye Pohamba, is not worthy of the Mo Ibrahim Award, which he obtained in 2015. The party made this statement at a media briefing where they shared their stance on the eviction of an elderly couple from a farm allegedly owned by the former president. Fabian says it's pure organized campaign tactics against Pohamba and the SWAPO party. Jarman says Faceb is supposed to go there and find a solution. Wagner hopes that the farm owner and affected family had a settlement meeting. Kanioto asks, will we all retire and continue to live on employees' premises? while Nabat notes that the behavior of people living with elderly couples on a farm is the cause of such events. That is all from Comments Corner. Be sure to post your comments on our social media pages for broadcast only on Today on One.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, One Africa TV.
The time to unite against COVID-19 is now. Daily statistics have turned into names. Names of people we know, our parents, siblings, grandparents, cousins, neighbors, and fellow countrymen. Help stop COVID-19 in Namibia by getting yourself vaccinated. Vaccines help your body learn how to fight the virus well before an infection. This greatly increases your chances of not falling seriously ill when infected with COVID-19. So, get vaccinated, help kick COVID-19 out of Namibia. Please note, maximum protection from the vaccine is reached 2 to 3 weeks after full vaccination. Hence, the importance to get your second dose. Brought to you by the Nationhood and National Pride Program in partnership with the Ministry of Health and Social Services.
Loves to jive. Tafolaga, Namibian like you.
And on the sports front, the Minister of Sport, Youth and National Service, together with the Namibia Sports Commission, bid farewell to Team Namibia as they are off to represent the country at the African Union Sports Council Region 5 Under-20 Youth Games in Lesotho.
I'm here to send off Team Namibia to the 9th edition of the AUSC Region 5 Under-20 Youth Games. And I'm reliably informed that the team comprises of representatives from 12 regions, and only Unene and Zambezi regions are not part of the team. I am expecting that next time 14 regions will be represented. This is the beginning. This is how we start building. Last year, December, we were in Rietfontein, and the different regions were there, and they competed there, and this is now the result from that. As a government, we are fully responsible for the expenditure of the team, and we call upon the private sector to come on board and assist us financially and in kind in order to be able to send a bigger team, and therefore giving more children an opportunity to excel in international level. So these are the future bombers and Masilindi sitting here. And you, the athletes, if you give your best now in Maseru, you will be selected, and you will be becoming the future bombers and Masilindis.
Team comprises 77 athletes who will participate in 5 sport codes, namely football, volleyball, swimming, boxing, and athletics for both able-bodied and disabled athletes.
I'm a triple jumper. I'm representing Namibia. It's a huge privilege to be selected as an athlete to represent your country. So the advice I have for younger generation out there is to just keep working hard, be consistent, be humble. But don't worry what your circumstances are. Be above them.
I'm a volleyball player
representing Namibia in Lesotho. I'm very excited for the games, and we've been practicing for a long time, so I guess we're going to come back with great results. My advice to the youth out there is you should never limit yourself. Always strive for the best.
I'm going to participate in the 400 meters. I'm really excited, not nervous really, because it's not my first time going to participate on an international level. To all the athletes out there that didn't make the team, I would really just like to say that you must keep on pushing, and next time you will make it.
The games will commence from the 3rd of December to the 12th of December 2021.
Now a look at the weather forecast.
A look at the weather forecast, but first an advisory from the Windhoek Met office. Cooler air is expected in the interior on Thursday going into the weekend. The interior will be sunny and hot in the southwest, elsewhere partly cloudy and hot to very hot with a few thunder showers, but isolated to scattered thunder showers in the Otjozondjupa and Omaheke regions in places. A fresh to strong southwesterly to a westerly wind can be expected in the interior. The coast will be partly cloudy and cool to warm. The wind will be moderate to fresh southwesterly but strong southerly in the south at times.
That is all we have for you. You can join us again for a repeated 9:30, 6 a.m. and the Omnibus Saturdays from 9 to 2. From me, Maggie Forciero, and the rest of the team, till next time, it's good night.
The International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future, a hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUM for life. We are IUM.
I like rhinos. I like them very much. Future here in this area is depending on the tourism. The future generation, they can see and they can benefit from their own resources. Animals like rhinos, elephants, the big five, you benefit from them and it must be respected. You are not feeding the rhinos, you are not giving them order, so it's a free business. Marcus, I take 2 of my sons, which was little bit 5 years old. They were young guys. So they asked me questions. Why are we here? Why are we sleeping here? I told them this is our resources and this is our future.
My first memory of going with my dad is that I learned new things. As I grow up as a man, I see an opportunity in it. So I decided to look for a job pertaining tourism. So that's when I was employed at Palembang. So I decided to go for tour guide studies. Because I grew up with the tourism industry, the wildlife, the rhinos and everything, to bring that experience to the tourists. You can see the hyena. The biggest changes, I was employed, getting paid, and also I can now support my family.
It's a cultural thing. It's coming a long way. Even if you go to area like Fontaine, area was a lot of paintings. You will see rhino engravings on the rocks. That is an indication that the interaction between human, especially the local communities and wildlife, is dating back. That intimacy relationship is coming for a long time.
We are right here now at Palembang, and Palembang is one of the big lodges in the heart of the desert. And as you can see there is Jumbo standing behind me, which shows it's really a tourist area. We do have elephants, lions, but as you can see, the desert is the heart of the rhinos. This is the main breeding area of the rhinos, is what we found here in this desert.
It's the largest free-roaming population of black rhinos that you find outside national parks in the world. It's a population that communities in the northwest have taken responsibility themselves in managing this population with the structures that government has put in place, more specifically the establishment of conservancies.
These people, before independence, they took it upon themselves and decided that wildlife is our heritage, and through history we've been living with wildlife. And having wildlife in your area is like having a garden.
Because of all these animals, we've got the communities that benefit from all this wildlife, and it's like a triangle that fits into each other. And the communities looked after the wildlife doing their own thing, and the communities benefit.
So already there were this intergenerational relationship between mankind and wildlife, and that bond is what our people actually wanted to see it continuing.
Very few countries have the wildlife that Namibia has. What is also important is the policies that Namibia has put in place, which also involves communities to be engaged in the management of the wildlife species and also to benefit from the wildlife resources.
Turn conservation into a rural economy, turn conservation into endless opportunities that would actually cater for those young people that have nothing else to do.
If it was not for rhino economy and tourism in this area, it was really difficult for young people to get or find a job.
We are conservation engineers. We make conservation work in an unfenced area, and through that, we want to turn the wildlife into the rural economy that will benefit the rural communities.
So we can see now wildlife is doing very well, the lodges are doing well, and the community is also benefiting. So it takes all three together.
Devastating hit over coronavirus fears.
airline industry is facing its biggest threat to travel since 9/11.
Since March, when COVID-19 hit Namibia, things actually become very difficult. In the first place, all the lodges closed down because of COVID-19. With us, say the Rhino Trust, we had some donors cutting on their funding. And then we had, in the same time, a poaching case of 2 rhinos that was poaching. We had less boots on the ground, and poachers could actually see. Now it's our chance to go in and do something. So COVID-19 was tough on all of us. Ginger Morning, who is one of our trustees, actually came up with the idea of, why don't we ask you to go to buy some gold for us and make gold bars, and then we sell them for the rhino conservation.
I was fortunate enough to have a chance to have lunch with Clive Johnson, the CEO of B2 Gold in Vancouver, Canada. And I looked at Clive and I said, we've got rhinos, you've got gold, let's do something. Let's create a coin or a medallion or a bar using your resource to create a sustainable source of funding for rhino conservation for the future.
There was it. The gold was bought, the bar was made, and I think it was 31st of January that we launched the bars in Windhoek. And suddenly one morning I had an email from my office, from my finance person, saying, these people don't have salaries. So I said, oh, what now? So I picked up my phone and I phoned Mark Law. I said, Mark, I've got this problem. He said, but when we've got the fund already ready for you, you just have to apply, put a proposal in.
1,000 ounces of gold can make an enormous difference to the livelihoods of the communities that live up there. We are, in essence, providing income and providing a livelihood to the communities. In the absence of tourism, especially now with COVID-19, even prior to that, when we had such a bad drought, the communities became even more dependent on the natural economy.
The idea is to make this a fund that will last for the next 25, 30 years, or even longer. And a portion of that will be distributed immediately as needed. And in this case, the COVID-19 crisis necessitated us to distribute funds to pay salaries to help people in the field.
The proceeds of the sales from the gold bars will be going towards responsible NGOs. And we've identified Save the Rhino Trust as the key NGO. And IRDNC, one of the first organizations that was in the Northwest, integrated rural development and nature conservation, so that ultimately the funds go to the communities and various aspects of their war on poaching.
To be able to support those hardworking men and women that are always in the front line between the poachers and the rhinos.
If it was not for B2 Gold and the golden bars, I think by now we should have been in big trouble.
By extracting the gold, you reinvest it in other renewable resources.
The gold that's coming out from the ground is actually protecting the wildlife that's walking on the ground, which is a very good symbol for the others.
I wish this was my bar. This is the 500 gram gold bar. So you'll see on this side you've got the Etindeka Mountains and you've got the mother rhino with her calf. And then on the reverse side we've got the serial number, you've got the Rand refinery stamp, which is very important. Anywhere in the world people will recognize the stamp and they will know that this bar contains 99.99% gold.
It is gorgeous.
We wanted to make a biggest contribution. And at Ballowwood we see that as a way of giving back to the community.
Okay, so there you'll see the 500 gram bar.
Very special.
Feel the weight. It's incredible.
This opportunity which presented itself is absolutely a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
We're privileged to have this.
This is just absolutely gorgeous, and I think this showcases really what the project is all about.
It's from 24 karat Namibian gold.
I'm looking at these rhinos is put there like Miss World photogenic, I would say.
There are only 1,000 of these gold bars, rhino gold bars, in circulation.
As far as I'm aware, it's the largest single donation of any corporate to the conservation of biodiversity anywhere in Africa.
Therefore, we so much appreciate and would want to continue as a government to work with B2 Gold.
And the fact that it's happening here in Namibia is something that we can all be extremely proud about and very grateful to B2Gold.
Thanks to having this literal pot of gold through the funding for the Rhino Gold Bar, we're able to step in now and make sure that those trackers are supported, and so are their families and their communities.
We make sure that people sustain their jobs going forward. And who doesn't want gold?
And the B2Gold Rhino Gold Bar has come in at a really critical time now, particularly with tourism being closed off and those forms of revenue not coming in.
To say we have the biggest rhino population or black rhino population in the world, let it be for the rest of our lives. And it's that heritage that we have. It's our resource that we can all look after and protect.
It's our heritage. And it's also good that other people like B2Gold are also seeing it that way.
It's actually a very nice link between the investor that buys this gold bar, the rhino tracker in the northwest of Namibia, and the black rhinos. It's an intergenerational thing. The rhino trackers teach their children how to track rhinos, their children get taught, and so it flows down.
This is something that I want my children to have, and that we leave a little bit of a B2Gold legacy. And if I can be part of that as part of my family, I'd be very proud.
It can also become an inheritance for the generations of my own clan. My children, my grandchildren.
If we can bring that passion over to future generations and to hand that over to my children, and I hope that that same passion for conservation gets migrated over to my kids.
And what we've done together is create a sustainable source of funding that should outlive all of us.
You know, I think as far as B2Gold is concerned, we couldn't have chosen a better target in which to put our efforts as far as the environmental and conservation pillar is concerned. And I want to stress there that the money that's going towards environment and conservation is actually going towards the people.
Rhino is for all of us, whether you are in Canada, whether you are in Vancouver, whether you are in the US. If you really want to see conservation at play with rural communities, I therefore humbly request each and everyone to join us on our rhino tour and have a wonderful experience. This is what keeps rhinos on this planet.
I've done rhino trekking experience. It was just amazing walking in that landscape of the Kunene. And as we followed them, we could now find rhinos with the calf. We got the closest distance we could.
It's a warning sign.
And it was just amazing and lovely, something to experience that Namibia can offer. It's something that you have to do in your life.